Santiago, go ahead.
How are you doing and how are you experiencing this fight week at the Mohegan Sun thus far?
Doing really well. It's been going well. I appreciate it and glad to be here.
John, you defeated the training partner of Gegard Mousasi back in 2019, Costello Vanstines. Do you think Mousasi is extra fired up to beat you now that you have a win over his good friend and training partner?
I assume that probably lit a fire under him some, and I try to look at those fights as completely separate, even though they train together because they're, two different type fighters. But I'm sure that's something that at least put me more on the radar.
Who's going to be in your corner on fight night, John?
I've got my head coach, Jeff Jimmo, and then two training partners, Chris Barnheiser and Corey Crumpler.
Michael, go ahead.
Hey, John. Hope you're doing well, man. We know what you can bring in terms of fighting style and fighting ability. But what does John Salter can bring to the middleweight division in terms of, marketing and working all this extra jobs outside of the cage if you win or when you win the middleweight championship?
I think the fact that I'm a finisher brings a lot of excitement, to fights because I like to get people out of there early. And then, also, to see a family guy be at the top, I think is a big deal. I think a lot of people get excited about that.
So, John, it's been a long road to the top here. You're finally there. You're fighting a legend like Gegard. Just tell us what this does for your legacy.
It's been a long road. I've been fighting for a long time. I've had, a lot of big fights. But it seems like, I get a big fight, I win, and then, I end up fighting a lower ranked person and people kind of forget about me. So I think this is one to really cement where I am in the world of MMA at 185.
Gene, go ahead.
Hi, John. So kind of along the same lines, has it kind of been a little bit frustrating, all the success that you've had, that it kind of took this long for you to get this kind of an opportunity?
There's obviously days of frustration when you're, spending years working to get a title shot. It doesn't look like it's coming. But then again, it's been a great experience. Bellator's treated me really well. So, I think that it's God's timing, and I think this is what this is. It's the perfect time for me. And, I think it would have been great if it happened earlier, but I don't think there could be a better time for me than right now.
I mean, has there been anything different that you've kind of done in training, knowing that this is the big shot that you've really obviously been waiting for years?
I don't know that it's been a big difference. Obviously, the 5 rounds is different, training for that. But the other thing is just it's such a unique opponent that's so hard to emulate that I've got to have so many guys that bring in, certain aspects of his game, because there's only one Gegard Mousasi in the world. So you can't get a guy to come imitate him. You just got to have people that can, mimic one thing he does to get used to that.
Dylan?
I'm just curious because as much as there's been some talk about been putting in work for a while, it would be good to get the title shot sooner. But what I've been seeing on MMA Junkie, they put together a good piece just talking about how you're second in promotional history behind Alexander Shlemenko for, total bouts, just the amount of victories, the finishes. As much as it would have been good to get the title shot sooner, how cool is it to be, I guess, putting together stats like that and kind of being in that rarefied air at 185 in Bellator?
Yeah, I think that's exciting, and that's what this is about, right? Getting out there, fighting, getting wins, and most importantly, getting finishes. So while like I said, while it didn't work out the way I was asking for at the time, it's been great. Every step of the way. And, this is just a thing. It's like I said, this is God's timing. It's been on his time frame, not mine. And now we're in the perfect spot.
And just as a quick follow-up, I'm curious, what the level of fanfare in Gardendale, Alabama is looking like ahead of this one.
I think we've got a lot of people tuning in and coming up for the fight. I got a lot of people traveling to make it up this week. So that's going to be great. Can't wait to hear everybody out there in the crowd.
Okay, Tony, go ahead.
Hi, John. Hope you're well. You mentioned earlier about being a family man. What would becoming the Bellator middleweight champion mean for you and your family?
Huge, because my wife has just been there every step of the way, and such an encourager. And even right now, we've got a 4.5-month-old daughter. And while she is the easiest baby of anybody I've ever seen, still there's so much goes into raising a young daughter. And for my wife to step in and take over the way she has during this training camp, it's just been unbelievable. And it's made things so much easier for me. And, so just paying off, not only for me, but for my wife, and then in the future, my daughter, it's just huge.